Hey, good welcome, everybody. Good morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the world that you are in. Welcome back to LWN Network. I am Tammy Nation, your host of Headline Hits, Monday through Thursday, every Monday through Thursday, noon Eastern Standard Time. And we've got some great headlines this morning for you guys. And the biggest one is Zelensky and the story that began last Friday that continues to change and develop. So we're going to get right headed into that. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. I know mine has been pretty taxing already, but Mondays do that, don't they? We're heading into first week of March here, March 3rd. Spring is on its way. So let's go ahead and start getting into these headlines. So in the aftermath of the Trump-Zelensky meeting at the White House on Friday, Chucky Schumer came out, if you guys didn't see this, and said President Trump and J.D. Vance are doing Putin's dirty work, that the Senate Democrats will never stop fighting for freedom and democracy. Then in an interview on CBS News Saturday morning, Zelensky was asked in an interview on Fox if he owed Trump an apology, and Zelensky said no. It's no good for both sides that we can change our Ukrainian attitude towards Russia. So as of Saturday, he wasn't ready to apologize or do anything. So it was very foolish, basically, of Zelensky not to make a deal. We know that, and act so rash and bad like he did when President Trump still has the power to give him $4 billion for assistance in Ukraine, and he doesn't need congressional approval to do that. Not that we haven't already given him a bunch of money, but Trump has that in his power to do that. Not to mention the security, protection, and weaponry we've already supplied to that country and Zelensky. So Zelensky also stated in that meeting that he has been alone since 2014, which we know is untrue because the U.S. has been supporting him all along. Tucker Carlson also came out with a statement regarding Zelensky's press conference, saying that one of the most striking things about that was Lindsey Graham's reaction to it. He said the two are old friends, but Graham disavowed him within an hour. And he said that this was more than just a transactional disloyalty. It was scapegoating. Lindsey Graham knows what's coming over the past 3 years with the tactics support of his Western patrons. The Ukrainian government has committed a remarkable number of serious crimes, and the Ukrainians sold huge quantities of American weapons on the international black market at 20 cents on the dollar. And he said these weapons are now in the hands of armed groups around the world, including Hamas and the Mexican drug cartels and the forces now controlling Syria. So God knows what the Ukrainian governments and people have done with the pathogens as well of the American biolabs in their country. Even U.S. intel agencies are not sure the Ukrainians have done, and also unalived a number of people in various countries and political assassinations, and tried to unalive others, including American journalists and European heads of state. And this is all true, Tucker said. And so Lindsey Graham knows what's coming. And at some point, it's all going to come out, and you better start blaming Zelensky now, he's saying to Lindsey and other people. Adding to the bad weekend of meetings for Zelensky, he met with Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico, and Mr. Fico came out stating that after his meeting with Zelensky, that his country will refrain from providing financial or military assistance to Ukraine. So apparently Zelensky did not impress the Slovakia prime minister either after what he did in front of Trump, J.D. Vance, and the American people, and even the world in that just disastrous meeting on Friday. Also, Secretary of State Marco Rubio terminated the U.S. support for Ukraine's power grid. The State Department ended a USAID initiative that has given hundreds of millions of dollars to the restoration of Ukraine's power grid. And then breaking last night, Zelensky, within 48 hours, said he was ready to do that mineral deal with Trump. And that there's also rumors out there that Zelensky sold the mineral rights already to the UK 3 days before Trump's inauguration. And listen to this. Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, has announced over the weekend that his support is for the Ukraine war. He has positioned himself as the bridge between Ukraine and the US as he attempts to salvage a peace deal, a potential peace deal. So we have to check into that rumor a little more about he already sold the mineral rights to the UK. And it's kind of ironic that the UK is now supporting him. And then, however, just about an hour or so ago, as this story continues and never changes, everyone, President Trump is to meet with advisors to discuss halting U.S. military aid to Ukraine. And it looks like Zelensky's 48-hour decision from no deal after meeting with President Trump at the White House on Friday, and now within 48 hours wanting to make a deal, has come too late. So basically, Zelensky had a rough weekend, and his Monday's off to a rough start too. In our next headline, we have Pam Bondi. Now, she's been under fire this weekend after the complete debacle with the Epstein files. He had claimed that she had all the files, or she had claimed she had all the files on her desk and she was going to release them. When they were released, we are now know that they fell short of anything spectacular or had any interesting or new details. On one hand, we were told that it was going to be in sections and that they had to be very cautious in what they released on these Epstein files, and it would be in segments. However, Pam Bondi also said she had everything. But then she also sent that letter to Kash Patel stating that all the records were not there and he had 14 days to be able to produce the rest of the documents. Bondi also did an interview with Mark Levin this weekend, and many were not impressed with her performance and non-answers to the questions of this landmark case that many of us have been waiting for answers for. Bondi was stating that she would fire those that held back the files, and that did not impress anyone across social media. Everybody wants accountability and names, not just firing of the criminals going against direct orders from authority and possibly protecting themselves or others and their involvement in hiding these documents of Epstein. They want accountability, period. Firing and letting criminals go was not very impressive. So she was under attack all weekend for that. And also, there's a lot of people on social media that are pulling up records from Bondi's past. And one of those social media people are Laura Loomer. She pulled out the receipts stating that Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, was a registered foreign lobbyist on behalf of Qatar. She was compensated $1,115 per month by Qatar, and Qatar has given over $1.8 billion to Hamas over the years. There is a consulting agreement amendment that Laura Loomer put out on X that is dated and stamped from July 17th, 2019, validating the information on Bondi. Pam Bondi has now blocked Loomer on all her social media accounts. And so many are now asking, who exactly is Pam Bondi protecting? We have to keep an eye on this accountability, you guys, and find out what is going on, because what matters is people being accountable, people holding up what they tell us is going to happen, and no more slapping of wrists. So, like I said, it has been a firestorm for Pam Bondi because of her past. There's been pictures out and such with other people as well that are kind of shady and a part of this organization and this consulting that she used to do. So, you know, people can change, people can step up to the plate, but Pam Bondi, like Zelensky, had a really bad weekend. The next headlines we have is talking about Pete Hegseth released a statement regarding the 5 bullet point request to civilians working at the DOD. And his statement talks about, here at the Defense Department, we've got a lot of civilian patriots who dedicate themselves to defending this nation while working here at the Department of Defense. And a lot of them are critical to our national security as we work to restore focus on DOD's core war-fighting nation under President Trump's leadership. We recognize that we cannot accomplish that mission without the strong and important contribution of our civilian workforce, but it's a really big workforce as well. So the OPM office, which is the Office of Personnel Management, sent an email to all the federal civilians asking them to provide approximately 5 bullet points of what they did last week, describing their accomplishments. And we've heard about this, right? Well, the Department of Defense employees received direction to at first initially paused responding to this request because following a review of a Pentagon procedural and consultation, we have to figure out what is acceptable because of national security and sensitivity of classification. So he said we need to be careful on that front. However, the pause has been lifted, and he said, I am now directing each member of the department civilian workforce, just civilian, to provide those 5 bullet points on what they accomplished in their specific jobs last week, to reply to that email and CC their immediate supervisor. He said it's really a simple task, as Elon said in the past, and as President Trump recognized in their first cabinet meeting, which they held. He said, this is basically simply a pulse check. Are you there? So now all those DoD civilians will receive an email outlining their next steps that they need to take in order to comply with this initiative. So it's important for us to understand what is going on. Is there a pause? What section of people are getting these emails? Who was put on pause and who wasn't? So, details matter, and we need to stay informed. The next headline, too, Hedgeseth came out and said he does not rule out strikes on the fentanyl labs in Mexico. There's more to come with that, but it was just a statement that he made. Also, the DoD has been very busy because they sent 1,104 additional troops to join the 4,300 U.S. active duty troops at the southern border. It's an effort to bolster the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to control the influx of illegal immigrants still trying to get in. So the DoD is still working with the Department of Homeland Security just to fill those critical capability gaps at the southern border in accordance with President Trump's EO to protect the American people against invasion, which we are very well know that's what it was. Then the next headline is about a Georgia judge here in my state has ordered Fulton County District Attorney Fanny Willis to testify under oath about her misconduct during her RICO lawfare case against President Trump. A state Senate committee hit Fanny Willis with another subpoena this past week after she dodged accountability for months. So Superior Court Judge Shakira Ingram on Tuesday denied Fanny Willis's motion to quash the state Senate committee's subpoena. Fanny Willis tried to block the subpoenas requiring her to testify before a Georgia State Senate committee about her relationship with Nathan Wade after she was caught perjuring herself in February of 24. Fanny Willis did testify under oath that her relationship then with top prosecutor Nathan Wade had ended months ago. In November, Fanny Willis and her entire office were disqualified from prosecuting Trump in their lawfare RICO case in the Georgia Appeals Court. Disqualified Fanny Willis because of appearance of impropriety. So that is not ended yet here either. So there's so many stories breaking. A lot of them get major attention, like the Zelensky and Ukraine, which it should. But there's other things that are very important that we need to keep on the forefront of. Also, the latest on Pope Francis. He remained in stable condition as of Sunday, and he didn't need any medical ventilation. The Vatican said it was a sign that his respiratory function was improving as he continues his recovery. He had double pneumonia and a respiratory crisis Friday. He had a coughing episode, which they thought was going to be a new infection. It caused fears in that, but the Pope has continued to receive a high flow of supplemental oxygen, and his prognosis remains guarded, meaning he isn't quite out of danger yet. Then we move on to the wildfires that are unfortunately and horrifically burning uncontrollable through North and South Carolina over the weekend. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster has declared a state of emergency as over 225 wildfires at last count continue burning across the state. It's already consumed past 4,200 acres and threatens multiple homes and forced evacuations and continues to spread, consuming thousands of acres. Zero containment. The governor has also announced a statewide burning ban that anyone who starts a fire is going to face jail time. And these wildfires, they are saying, are fueled by dry conditions and wind. Most fires in North Carolina, 90% are, according to the North Carolina Forest Service, are human caused. 49% of the state's wildfires are from careless debris burning. In western North Carolina on Saturday afternoon, a power line fell along U.S. Highway 176, which sparked a brush fire that raced up the mountain. And by late Saturday, it had grown 400 to 500 acres with zero containment. Conditions are ripe for ignition because the state has been under a drought with over 75% of counties in moderate to severe status. Gusty winds over the weekend helped aid in that fire spreading. They said they had 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. Also warm temps, highs in the 60s and 70s. And they said now you've got a tinderbox. So we've had plenty of out-of-control wildfires recently, as you guys are well aware of, in California, Maui, Pacific Palisades, and now Myrtle Beach. So much damage, loss of homes, businesses, lives. We have to keep all those affected in our thoughts and prayers. And to the emergency services people trying to battle these blazes and assist those trying to evacuate, we have to keep them in our thoughts and prayers, keep an eye on this, and pray that they get this under the control soon. And the last little bit of tidbit here is President Trump is going to address a joint session of Congress tomorrow evening. It's going to happen at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He was invited by Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, to share his America First vision for our legislative future. Trump posted on his social media, tomorrow night will be big, and I will be telling it like it is. And we know that Trump has had no shortage of telling it like it is. So I am very much looking forward to that tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's what I have for you guys today for this Monday for Headline Hits. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, please, as we build LWN Network. We also have our YouTube channel up and running. You can also join us there. So until tomorrow, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll keep you posted on the latest like we always do. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.